If you've ever wondered, why does a Muslim, an Orthodox, consistent Muslim, pray 5 times a day, they would say because Muhammad was taken up to heaven and that's what Allah said to do. The first is, Jesus said that he came down from heaven. In John chapter 6, it is in your notes beginning in verse 38. Jesus says, quote, "For I have come down from heaven not to do my will, but to do the will of him who sent me." At this the Jews began to grumble about him because he said, quote, "I am the bread who came down from heaven," end quote. They said, "Is this not Jesus, the son of Joseph, whose father and mother we know? Didn't our kids go to school with this guy? Didn't he play second base on the Little League team? Isn't this the kid who had a hard time hitting a curveball? How could he say he came down from heaven? We know his mom and dad. That's crazy talk. How can he say, 'I came down from heaven'?" On hearing it, many of his disciples said, "This is a hard teaching. Who can accept it?" And from this time on, many of his disciples turned back and no longer followed him. Jesus said, "I came down from heaven." Now we know that heaven is God's house. He's saying, "I'm God, come down from heaven for a visit to the earth." And this is different than a near-death experience. A near-death experience is when someone says, "For a moment, I got to peek into heaven." They will record that I died and I was outside of my body and I saw a bright light and I glimpsed into heaven and then I came back and I'm here to tell you what it's like. There are whole books written on near-death experiences. So many people have in fact died and gone into the great light to see that Elvis is there ruling over all of creation. And there's actually a book written on near-death experiences of people who think that Elvis is God. Right? What we're not talking about here is some near-death experience where a person got to glimpse into heaven for a moment. We're talking about Jesus who says, "I am God, heaven is my home, I've come down from heaven." Even among the world religions, there are only a handful of people who say, those who are spiritual and religious leaders, "I have seen into heaven." One of them who makes that claim is Muhammad, the great founder of Islam. And what he says is that he got to go to heaven on one occasion. And he said that he was taken up from a place that is now known as the Dome of the Rock. It's the third holiest site for Muslims on the earth. It is also roughly the same area that the original Jewish temple had been built. And he says that there the angel Gabriel met him, and he rode on a sort of heavenly animal called a burak, and he was taken up into heaven, where he was introduced to Allah God, not our God, Jesus, but Allah. And he says that there were Moses and Abraham and other biblical figures. And he says that there Allah told him that they were to begin praying 5 times a day. If you've ever wondered, why does a Muslim, an Orthodox, consistent Muslim, pray 5 times a day, they would say because Muhammad was taken up to heaven and that's what Allah said to do. So 5 times a day, the Muslim faithful pray toward Mecca in an effort to honor what Muhammad says was the word given to him in heaven on the one day that he got to visit. Jesus is essentially saying, "I'm superior to Muhammad." Right? I didn't just go up to heaven for a sneak peek. I've lived in heaven forever as God, and I've come down from heaven to be here with you. And this is the differentiation between Christianity and other religions. Other religions are about people ascending up to God through good works and karma and progress, morality, spirituality. Christianity is not about us ascending up to God. It's about Jesus Christ, our great God, descending down to us, becoming a man and living in human history with us in love.